Welcome to here at Cedar Run. Thank you for everyone for joining us. The new folks out there, we appreciate you all joining us as well. As many of you guys know, we've been doing this every afternoon at 2 p.m. and we hope to continue for quite a while. So hopefully, if it's your first time, you come back again with us tomorrow and next week. So it's a bit about our owl friends here at Cedar Run. So many of you guys know that we do have a wildlife hospital here at Cedar Run. We see lots of different types of animals. We do have some resident owls, so we're going to be meeting one of our little resident owls later on today.
They can't hear you, so I'm going to come a little closer.
Okay. All right, we're getting closer. Zoom in on me. But I want to start everybody this afternoon with a story. So we're going to start with a story, learn a little bit about owls, and then we will meet one of our resident owls here at Cedar Run. So this story, many of you all may know. If you've visited us, we may have read this book to you all before. If not, it's one of my favorite books. I've read it probably about 1,000 times. So if you see me not looking at the page, it's because I read it a whole lot.
Still saying no sound.
No sound? Can you all hear me now? I'll keep going. Hopefully everybody can hear me. All right, friends. So we are going to be reading Owl Babies this afternoon by Martin Waddell. And this little book is a pretty funny one. It's about some owl babies, of course. So there's Sarah, our biggest owl. We've got Percy, he's the medium one. And our little guy, his name is Bill. So Bill's kind of a scaredy cat, so you guys are going to see along the way. He gets a little bit frightened by everything.
They can hear you now.
All right, perfect. Perfect time. Once there were 3 baby owls, Sarah, Percy, and Bill. They lived in a hole in the trunk of a tree with their mother. The hole had twigs and leaves and owl feathers in it. It was their house. One night they woke up and their owl mother was gone. "Where's Mommy?" asked Sarah. "Oh my goodness," said Percy. And what did Bill say? "I want my mom." The baby owls thought, "All owls think alike. I think she's gone hunting," said Sarah. "To get us our food," said Percy. "I want my mommy," said Bill. But their owl mother didn't come. The baby owls came out of their house and sat on the tree and waited. A big branch for Sarah, a small branch for Percy, and an old piece of ivy for Bill. "She'll be back," said Sarah. "Back soon," said Percy. And Bill said, "I want my mommy." It was dark in the woods, and they had to be brave, for things moved all around them. "She'll bring us mice and things that are nice," said Sarah. "I suppose so," said Percy. "I want my mommy," said Bill. They sat and they thought, "All else think alike. I think we should all sit on my branch," said Sarah. And they did, all 3 together. "Suppose she got lost," said Sarah. "Or a fox got her," said Percy. "I want my mommy," said Bill. And the baby owls, they closed their eyes and wished their owl mother would come. And she came. Soft and silent, she swooped through the trees to Sarah, Percy, and Bill. "Mommy!" they cried, and they flapped and they danced, and they bounced up and down on their branch. "What's all the fuss?" their mother owl asked. "You knew I'd come back." And the baby owls thought, "All owls think alike. I knew it," said Sarah. "And I knew it," said Percy. "I love my mommy," said Bill. And what do you guys think? Not a bad one, right? Kind of a scary cat owl. So it's kind of a silly story, right? But is it something that owls really do? Do mommy owls go out and make the babies behind? I think they do, right? So mom can't always hang out in the nest, and dad can't always hang out in the nest. So sometimes the mom and dad owls, they do have to leave the babies alone. So a lot of times they might have a nest that they stole from another animal, right? They might take a nest from another bird. They might find a hole in a tree like my friends behind me did. So they're going to find a safe spot that the babies can be without mom and dad being there. So I'm sure babies do get a little bit scared. I don't know if they get as scared as our friends in the story do. They are all by themselves, and it does make it kind of scary because there are lots bigger animals than them out there in the wild. So as you guys might see from my story and my animals back here, our baby owls are going to look much different than mommy and daddy, right? So that's the way we can tell that if we see an owl, that maybe it's a baby or it could be an adult who just happens to be kind of tiny. So these guys in my picture are called barred owls, but I want to talk about a couple different kinds of owls we've got here in New Jersey. So the one that a lot of you guys maybe have seen, and we have a couple of them here at Cedar Run, these guys are called the great horned owls. And they're called that because they're great and big. Also because they look like they have some horns growing on the top of their head, right? So these guys are very common. We find them all over New Jersey. And they're going to be in lots of different kinds of places. So depending on where you guys live, you might have a great horned owl not too far. They like to live in the towns. They like to live in the cities. They even live out in the country. As long as they can find some stuff that they like to eat there, it's going to be a perfect spot for them. So these are the guys that we might hear too. They like to go whoo, 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 right, when they're talking to their friends. So there are hooting owls that we find around in our area. We also might find these guys. So these guys are called the screech-owls, and they call them because of their noise, but they also look a little bit like the great horned owls, right? You guys can see they look like they have horns on the top of their heads. Neither of these guys really have horns. They're just feathers that stick up on top. So the screech-owls are much smaller. They're not as big as the great horned owls, so they're very, very good at hiding. They love those holes in the trees, and they'll eat much smaller animals than the other friends do. Okay. So the other one that I just mentioned, like in my picture behind, is the barred owl. We have these in New Jersey too, but they're actually on the threatened list or the endangered list. So it means there's not too many of them out there. So if you find one of these guys in your backyard, you're super lucky. They're pretty cool to find. And they usually like to live where it's kind of swampy and wet. They're not going to be in your yard with all the grass. They're going to be hanging out near the water because they love to eat things like fish and rocks. All right. And the last one I want to share with you guys is my friend the barn owl. Where do you think the barn owl might like to live? Any ideas? Near the farms. So these guys aren't always going to be on farms, but a lot of times farmers do find them nearby because they're big mouse eaters. So think about a farm with all the plants growing there, right? There's lots for mice to eat. So if the mice are hanging around eating the plants, the owls are going to come along and hopefully they're going to be able to eat those mice. So farmers love these guys, and they do sometimes have them hanging out in their barns in the daytime. So those four friends, the barn owl, the barred owl, the screech-owl, and the great horned owl are only 4 of 8 kinds of owls that we have that live here in New Jersey. But they're the only 4 that you can find here all year long. There's 4 other kinds that sometimes pop in every once in a while in the wintertime. All right, so we are going to meet one of my owl friends. You guys ready? Any guesses on which of those 4 owls we might see? We think it's the barn owl, the great horned owl, the screech owl, the barred owl. I'm going to leave you hanging. All right. So we have great horned owls at Cedar Run. We have a barn owl at Cedar Run. And we have a couple screech owls at Cedar Run. So we are going to be visiting this afternoon with one of our resident screech owls. And her name is Nazar. I'm going to stand up so you guys can see her better. So we have a few screech owls here at Cedar Run. Some of them live outside in our enclosures for our non-releasable animals. Some of them live inside, and we use them for teaching. So Nazar is one of our owls that we use to teach with. So any of the animals that you see when you come and visit Cedar Run are all ones that are permanent residents. That means they're here forever because they have something wrong with them that we aren't able to fix. So in Nazar's case, she came to our hospital about 3 years ago, and it ended up that she didn't see very well. So we're not sure exactly what happened to her, but we know that her one eye doesn't see anything. So can you guys think of a reason maybe an owl couldn't live outside if they don't see well? Any thoughts? Tough. So in Nazar's case, because our eyesight isn't good, it makes it very hard for her to hunt. Right? She has to go catch other animals with her feet, which is kind of silly, right? So if she can't see those animals very well, she'd have a hard time catching them and having good food for her to eat. The other thing that could happen is, because she's flying around in the dark, right? Owls come out at night, they're nocturnal. It's going to make it really hard for her to be able to see where she's going. So she might end up crashing into something and getting hurt. And the other one that you guys maybe don't want to think about, right? If she's out at night and she's only this big, this is as big as she gets, there's a lot of other animals that could maybe eat her. So if she doesn't see very well, she might not see another animal sneaking up on her and she could end up getting hurt. So because of her eyesight, she has to stay at Cedar Run, and we'll keep taking care of her for a very long time. She gets to teach you guys, and normally she gets to go to schools and fun stuff like that, so hopefully she'll get to do that again soon. So we give her a pretty good life, I think, right? So I told you guys real quick that this is as big as Nazar gets. Remember I said a little bit earlier that our baby owls look a little bit different than mommy and daddy, right? In the case of the screech-owls, people always think they're babies because they're tiny. But this is actually as big as a screech-owl is ever going to get. So it might be a little bit hard to tell, but if you guys look, she's about the size of my hand. She's not a very big owl at all. So a lot of times people think, oh, she's not too scary because she's little, right? She can go and catch lots of other animals that she wants to eat. Then how she does it is with those toes and those feet. So she doesn't catch her food with her beak. She has to use her strong feet to help her catch stuff instead. So she'll fly in the nighttime, she'll hear something or see something, she'll grab it with her feet, and it's usually something tiny because she's not too big, she can't catch anything too big. So she'll catch a mouse or a toad or a small lizard or a small snake. And she even likes to eat insects and stuff too. So she might catch a moth or a grasshopper. And those are going to be the things that she's going to chow down in the nighttime. No fruits or vegetables, no leaves, just other animals out in the forest. She's watching somebody behind her. Somebody was standing behind Nazar was watching. Can you guys see how Nazar's head's turned really far behind her? Right? Owls, sometimes people think owls can turn their heads all the way around. But what would happen if her head went all the way around? Do you guys think it might pop off? Right? She doesn't want her head to pop off, but she does turn her head very far behind her like we just saw, so she can see what's going on back there. So the cool thing about owls is their eyes are very big inside their head. It helps them see really good in the dark. But there's one thing they're missing that we have. If you guys keep your head still, right, you can move your eyes back and forth and up and down. Nazar can't do that. Her eyes are always looking straight ahead of her. She can blink them, but she can't move them like us. So instead of moving her eyes and her neck like a person does, she just is able to move her neck very, very far. So her neck can go 3/4 of the way around to see what's going on back behind her. Pretty cool, right? All right. So I'm trying to think if I missed anything. So I said she stays little, right? I said she likes to catch little animals. She's very good at turning her head. Do you guys have any other questions about her? Nothing? I'm giving y'all a couple seconds. Don't want to miss anything. All right, friends. So I'm going to let you, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them questions. I'm going to put Miss Nazar back into her box. Everybody say bye, Nazar. Oh, she's watching the camera move. Very exciting. So I said she doesn't see very well, right? But she still can see a little bit out of one of her eyes, but she's mostly using her hearing. So because her eyes don't work, she relies on things that she hears. Even the tiniest sound that maybe we won't react to, she can hear it, and she's going to turn her head in that direction to see what's happening, making sure it's nothing scary going on. All right, so no questions about that?
We do have one. Would a hawk hunt her? We think so.
Oh, so you guys want to know if a hawk would hunt her, and you think that they do. You're right, they probably would. So usually an owl's out in the nighttime, right? And the hawk's out in the daytime. But if the hawk was able to see an owl in the daytime, they would totally try to catch one. So normally the owls are pretty lucky. Because they're kind of hiding away during the day, hawks don't normally find them, but there is a chance, especially for an owl as small as Nazar, that a hawk could maybe find her. But the thing that she really is scared of, guys, is our friend the great horned owl, right? All the owls are out in the nighttime, so she's tiny and this guy's big. So she is very much afraid of the great horned owl. Not as much as the hawk, but there's still a chance that maybe the hawk could catch her. All right. So thank you everybody for joining us. I hope you enjoyed meeting my friend Nazar and reading my cool story and learning So thank you everyone for joining us. We hope that we will be able to see you all again soon. As always, our nature center is closed, unfortunately, but our hiking trails and our wildlife housing area are still open, as well as our wildlife hospital to help any animals that you may find along the way. And hopefully we'll get to see you all again soon. Bye everybody.